guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the new Nars Soft Matte Foundation. I have tested it over the past 3 or 4 days. Took you guys through those days with me, showed you a lot of pictures, and I guess you'll just have to see what I think about it when you watch the video. But make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days, so you never have to miss me for too long. If you are somebody that likes to binge watch, I do have a full reviews playlist that I will put right up here, and it will also be down in the description box. That way you can watch this video first, of course. Let's just get into it. All right, guys, I have already done my eyeshadow and my eyebrows. I'm not the biggest fan of my eyebrows today, but it's fine. Maybe it'll look a little better when I have makeup on my face. I think 3 days would be a good enough time to kind of give my overall consensus. But if I'm at day 3 and don't feel like I have a good enough review on it, I'm just gonna use it until I can give you guys all of my thoughts and if I think it's worth it. Pros, cons, but I will probably just film the first 3 days of it because I feel like it gets very repetitive. I can watch complexion videos all day because I love complexion, but I know not everybody else is like that. I'm really just gonna show you guys everything as far as primer, foundation, concealer, under eye powder, and then face powder. For primer today, I'm going to be using one of my favorites. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I absolutely love this stuff. I have found that it just has the lasting power of glue. It's Black Friday, so I'm going shopping today. So this will kind of be like my out and about day, and then I'll do one day where I just test it in the house, and then I will do another day where I test it at my job because I am a home health aide and I have to wear a whole bunch of gear right now. For color correcting today, I'm just using the LA Girl Pro Conceal. And for my eyeshadow today, if you guys are curious, I am using the Nubian palette by Juvia's Place. Still don't really know how I feel about it. I used it, I think, in a Shop My Stash video, my very first one. Juvia's Place has really good eyeshadow formulas. I'm just not super in love with this, so I'm gonna use it for the next couple days and see if I can get myself to kind of come to a final consensus instead of just being on the rocks about it. And then contouring, just using the Fenty Beauty Matchstick, and this is in the color Espresso, I believe. Stuff is so easy to blend out. It's kind of crazy. Now we are ready for the star of the show, Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and I got the color Medium Deep 4 in Macau. I think that's how you pronounce it. I mentioned this in my VIB sale haul when I got this. This thing is so chunky, and the color I'm a little worried about, but this is what Sephora matched me for based on other foundations that are really close to my match. It retails for $40, and I counted the little square on here, and I think I counted 35, which is, I mean, pretty good. The range definitely looks pretty inclusive, I will say. A lot of brands will kind of just jump from a really light foundation to a really dark foundation and then not cover the grounds in between, but this looks pretty spread out in a lot of colors that are similar but just have different undertones, which is really nice to see because some brands will kind of just put one color and not give multiple undertones. But it claims to be full coverage, transfer proof, which will be really interesting to see on the mask. Oxidation resistant foundation that lasts for up to 16 hours, natural looking matte finish, and then skin types are all. Oh, this is interesting. So it has microalgae and biohyaluronic acid, which help absorb excess sebum. So that is really innovative. I think a lot of times products will claim to be matte, but this one actually works with your skin to make sure you stay matte. So it has that, but it also claims to still keep the skin hydrating and protect the skin from pollution and blue light damage. They claim to do a lot. So we'll see. If the color is not exact, I'm just going to use a darker powder to kind of help balance out and not make me look super crazy. As we always do, I'm gonna do half of it beauty blender, half of it brush. I'm just going to start with the beauty blender side. And I like that it's a little squeezy tube because you can really just apply the product straight to your face. And yeah, this does look a little bit light, but I honestly think that we can make it work. So this is about how much I put on my face. I definitely love the way it looks when it first goes on. It does have that soft matte finish that it claims to have. Sometimes foundations, you kind of have to blend them in and then let them sit a little bit, but I honestly love the finish of this right off the bat. And I do like the coverage. I would say it kind of looks like medium coverage over here just because I do have a lot of discoloration and stuff on my face, but it did cover up all of the color corrector, which makes me think that it definitely is full coverage. It's light. It's not super heavy feeling. We'll see what we can get on this side and just doing kind of the same amount. As I always say, you will probably most likely get more coverage out of a foundation if you use a brush. Definitely giving me a lot more coverage, at least from what I can see. And the match really isn't awful at all. This looks really, really good. I kind of am scarred from the last foundation I tried, the Milk Makeup foundation. It literally made me have an allergic reaction, and I thought it was just because I had used a razor on my face, and I used it a couple days after that, and it still did the exact same thing. This really is like your skin, but better. I absolutely love the packaging. You get so much product. So I like that this one's a little bit more compact, and it's probably really, really travel friendly. The finish on this is absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't even look like I'm wearing makeup, but at the same time it does because everything's super even. So now I am going to use my Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer underneath the eyes, because I do like to see how this foundation works with products that are my favorite, because usually if a product does not work with something that I love, it's gotta go. I'm just going to blend this out, and as always guys, this is an e.l.f. sponge. I only have a couple sponges that are not from e.l.f. This looks really good. I have a feeling I'm not gonna need to test this for more than 3 days, but I'm really curious to see how transfer proof this really is. I actually do have a new powder, and I figured I would try it with the foundation. This is the Nars Light Reflecting Setting Powder, and this is in the color Sunstone. Nars's packaging just goes so freaking hard. I love it. I will say this is a little bit darker, so I could potentially use this just all over my face. I can see in person where this powder is right here and I don't have powder right here, and I can see that it pretty much filtered my face. I mean, you can definitely tell a difference visually. I really like that. It's not hanging on really weird, which sometimes powders tend to do, but that is not doing that at all. And sometimes even if you use the slightest bit too much of a powder, it looks really weird underneath the eyes. I think this would be a really good match with this. I'm just going to use this Clinique Beyond Perfecting Powder and Concealer, and this is in the color 24 Golden. It has a really good coverage to it, which honestly, I don't even think I need any more coverage. Usually I will use a kind of more medium coverage foundation, and then the powder, and with between those two you will get your full coverage. It's just all about building. My skin looks really nice. I'm going to finish the rest of my face and then I will be back. All right guys, this is the completed look for day one. It's definitely a lot more vampy than I thought it would be, especially with the lip. I love the way that my skin looks. I have a lot of highlighter on today. Didn't mean for it to happen that way, but it did. As of right now, I have no complaints. It is 7:45 in the morning right now, so I will probably try to check in with you guys at least every 2 to 3 hours. At the end of the day, when I'm ready to take the makeup off, I will come back and talk to you guys, so I guess I will see you guys then. I am back. It is currently about 5:30 p.m., so this is about 9.5 hours into wearing the makeup. Here's the picture I took right after I did my makeup. My skin looks so good. Let me say though, first and foremost, sitting here 9.5 hours into wearing this makeup, usually I look a lot more oily. I do have a little bit of a glow, especially on my nose, and I really don't have any type of oil going on over here. My forehead's a little bit oily. I haven't found a foundation that doesn't do this after 8 hours. You can kind of see where it kind of breaks up around the nose, but I really don't do a good enough job of going like this and applying my foundation, so I will have to note that for tomorrow. If you guys have been with me for a while, you know I really don't ever wear makeup for more than probably 4 or 5 hours a day, but I wanted to show you guys this is what the mask looks like that I'm wearing. So all this in here was lipstick, and then I really wasn't surprised because I like the band to fit to my face. The band bends, so I make it sit on my nose. It really rubbed off on the parts that it was really touching a lot, but for this to be just 9.5 hours, I know some of you may look at this and be like, oh my gosh, this is so gross. I honestly think that what rubbed off is the powder, because I'm still looking at my face and I still have coverage where those places rubbed off. I also want to say that powder looks really good underneath the eyes. Keep in mind, this is all after 9.5 hours. I didn't notice anything hanging on really weird. I thought I looked really good all day. Even my forehead, it looks not even oily. It just looks kind of natural, like a natural finish. I have not worn makeup for this this long in a very long time, and I still feel like I could wear this for another couple hours and be fine. I'm just ready to go to bed. Tomorrow will be a chill day. I'm going to decorate my room, go through my closet, just do like easy stuff, but I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, we are back for day 2. I had a little bit of trouble with the eyes, especially the eyebrows. Me and my eyebrows have just been going through it this week, and I feel like when your eyebrows don't look good, they're the center of your face, it kind of makes everything else flop. For primer, I'm going to be using one of my favorites as of right now. This is the NYX Pore Filler. My only complaint is it is pretty pricey for how big it is. It looks like a travel size. Anything you put on top of this will just glide on like butter. And I did not clean up my eyebrows today, so I'm interested to see how different this is going to look. I'm just going to color correct using the Urban Decay Skin Color Correcting Fluid, and this is in the color Deep Peach, and then just the Fenty bronzer stick that I used yesterday. And of course, we are just going to go back in with the Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I'm really curious to see how this works with this primer. And I'm just going to apply it on one side of my face at a time because I'm not sure how fast drying this is. I barely used any product at all, and pretty much you can't really even see the orange tint underneath this eye anymore. I am going to build it up just a little bit more. I do want to see if it's buildable. And again, like I said yesterday, usually when you are using a sponge, you will not get as much coverage as you would with a brush. Definitely buildable. I can see a difference between the first layer and the second layer. I really was impressed with how it looked, especially for how long I was wearing it. And I feel like this will last me a really long time just because, like I said, it comes with more than what your standard foundation would come with. This is 1.5 fluid ounces. Usually you will get an ounce or less. This does look lighter than me going onto my face, but I really feel like it's a good match. I don't know, sometimes you just have to blend foundations out to see what they actually look like. Can see more coverage with the second layer, but usually when it comes to a specific foundation, I usually have a preference, whether that be if I like to apply it with a brush or a sponge. But with this foundation, I honestly don't have a preference. I feel like both sides look really, really similar. Most of the time I prefer using a sponge because I find that the foundation dries down faster that way. This one looks a little bit more shiny going on. I know it'll dry down, but versus this side, I really like when foundations come with pumps, or if they come with some type of doe foot applicator, or if they come with a squeezy tube, because it just avoids you having to get your hands super dirty and messy. So now for concealer, I'm going to be using another one of my favorites, this Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, and I'm in the color Butterscotch. I honestly don't know how I have not run out of this stuff yet. I use it so much. To set underneath my eyes, I'm just going to be using this new Laura Mercier translucent powder in the color Honey. I actually did a review on this, but Laura never disappoints ever. This stuff is amazing. Hello. Before I set the rest of my face, I'm just going to go ahead and pull my mirror a little bit closer to me. That way I can kind of see what's going on up close, because just because something looks good from far away doesn't necessarily mean it's looking great up close. Right in here, I'll try to zoom in, but I'm really not sure if you guys are going to even be able to see it. I do have some really weird texture going on. I don't know if it's my actual skin, because my skin has been, like I said, just off the rails this week. It's not even that the foundation hung onto it weird, it just went right over it. I did not experience that yesterday, but then again, I don't know if that is the foundation. When I use the Milk Makeup foundation in my full face of first impressions, I'll leave that video for you guys to go watch. My skin looked different than what it did before I put the foundation on. I mean, it literally caused me to have a rash on my face, texture that was not there before. Versus here, I don't think that the foundation is doing this because it just looks like a dry patch of skin that I have right here. What makes me think it's not the foundation is because it's not doing it anywhere else on my face. Versus with the Milk Makeup foundation, it happened all over my cheeks. It was awful. I am going to go ahead and set my whole face with my Laura Mercier translucent medium deep powder. But this is the only one with color that I have found to have coverage, but also work really well with other foundations on my face and not completely change the color that is going on. I am done with the base. I'm going to go ahead and finish my face off and then we will come back and talk. This is the completed look. It is exactly at 12 o'clock. I started filming this at about 11, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that I've already worn it for an hour. I really, really love this side of my face because it's just so smooth and filtered and flawless. And this side, I think just this right here is throwing me off. And I'm really gonna go ahead and say that this foundation is full coverage because if you guys have been with me for a while, you know that I have I can even tell what side of my face it's usually on. I have a lighter spot on my face without makeup on, and I think it's some type of dry patch. I've never been able to figure out what it was, but I can't even tell what side of my face it's on. Unless you guys can tell on camera, then let me know. But that is how I know that this foundation is full coverage. I have found only a very, very few that have been able to cover it up. I guess I will see you guys in a couple hours. All right, guys, I am back. It is 5:55, so almost 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and insert videos and pictures that I took. As far as mattifying around my cheeks and my head, my forehead, which is really surprising, look very good. The only area that's really concerning to me is my nose area, and I genuinely think that's because when I sweat and when I'm doing a lot of activity, I tend to sweat on my nose first. And there was a little bit of makeup that rubbed off right around here. Around my nose area definitely does not look as bad as it did yesterday though, and I think that is because I took more time to actually blend that makeup in. Although I will say you will be able to notice in the second video, you can tell carving out your brows definitely makes a difference, or at least getting super close to them. You can tell where I kind of was not able to really get in closely with product right around here. That was not from it rubbing off. I just want to clarify that. The only thing that's really looking oily is kind of right in here and really right here, which I'm thinking that it's oily right here because I didn't put any makeup right in around here. So you can definitely see the oil compared to like this side of my forehead, which I honestly think is kind of helpful that I didn't put a little bit of makeup right here because you can genuinely see the oil control that this foundation does have. I feel like I look like I've only been wearing this makeup for probably 3 or 4 hours at the most. It looked really, really, really good about 4 or 5 hours into it. It really didn't start to look different until about the 6-hour mark. Sometimes with foundations and any complexion products, if they're working weird, they can tend to separate the other products on your face and just make it look really weird. But it did not do that with my blush. It didn't do that with my bronzer or my highlighter. My highlighter looks really gorgeous today. I would definitely say this is a full coverage Your Skin But Better foundation. It's not super cakey, definitely looks very filtered, and I'm honestly really happy with it, especially with how long I've been wearing it. We will be back tomorrow. That last clip I filmed was about 2 weeks ago, and I will explain as to why it was 2 weeks ago once I start doing my makeup. But I went ahead and did my brows and I did my eyes. But as far as face, I used this NYX Pore Filler Primer. Absolutely love this stuff. It makes anything you put on top of it just glide onto your skin so perfectly, and it does a really good job of filling in my huge pores around my nose. For color correcting, I used the Urban Decay Naked Skin in the color Deep Peach, and then for my contour, I just used one of my favorites right now, the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the color Espresso. I think today I'm feeling just using a sponge for the foundation. Day 2 I filmed, and then come Monday I was waiting to film because I told you guys I was going to wear the foundation to work to see how it did in those types of conditions. I had went to school that day, and my boyfriend, right after school, because we only go half days, he like got really nauseous and lightheaded, and he said he was just not feeling good. I took his temperature and he had a temperature of like 101. So obviously I was like, okay, you need to go get tested. So we got him a rapid test and he tested positive. And then I was supposed to work. I work with older people. So I called my work and I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to need a rapid before work because they can give them to us. And I tested positive. So I did not have any symptoms, luckily. Yeah, so it's been about 2 weeks. Today is the first day I'm like going out. I'm really excited. You don't realize how much you miss leaving your house until you can't leave your house. One thing about this foundation, when you blend it in, it already kind of has a really nice finish. So I have a lot of texture, especially on this side of my face right now. So I'm really gonna disregard that. This side of my face has kind of been more kind to me lately. Sorry if I repeat myself, but I really don't remember what I said in the clips that I have filmed. It truly does have that soft matte finish. I have been absolutely loving this JUNO high coverage concealer, and I am in the color Coffee. You need it in your life. To IKEA because I'm actually in a different part of my room. You would not be able to tell, but I am changing my filming setup. I used this JUNO & Co. Blur makeup setting powder in my dupes video, and oh my gosh, it looked better than my Laura Mercier powder, like side to side. Powder is so scary at first. Like when you first put it on your skin, you're like, is it gonna blend in? Is it not? For all over face powder, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use complexion powder, and I am in the color Spiced Rum. I'm going to finish my face and then come back. All right guys, so I am finished with the makeup. Don't mind this little, I don't even know if you guys can see it, but I was impatient. I didn't let my setting spray dry all the way, so my highlighter like hung on in this little area right here. But yes, this is the completed makeup look. It is 9:30 right now. I've been filming since 8:30. I will try my best to take pictures. I think I've been really good about it the past 2 days. You guys will see me at 8 hours and then we will talk. You're not gonna believe me when I tell you what time of the day it is based on what my face looks like. It is almost 8 o'clock. So I have been wearing this makeup for close to 12 hours. Definitely believe that claim that the foundation has some type of oil controlling actual ingredient. I never ever get complimented on my makeup, ever. And a lady came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, your skin looks so amazing. That was really sweet. It made my day. So I was like, that was the deal breaker for me. It has not broken up really weird. As always, usually when I do wear makeup and a mask, it usually always rubs off on my nose. Definitely would say it's transfer proof. For as long as I wore my mask, it had the least amount of makeup as far as all the days that I went. And that was really surprising because I figured that the Too Faced Born This Way would be a little bit less transfer proof. I still cannot believe that my makeup looks this good after almost 12 hours of wear. If you ask me if you should buy this foundation, I would definitely say yes. It has a really light wear. All day I almost kind of forgot that I was wearing makeup on top of wearing powder and concealer on top of that. It's really super lightweight, really full coverage, which you can tell when I put it on the skin. There's nothing I would change about it. I even like the fact that it is a squeezy tube and it's upside down. Some makeup is super nice to display on a desk and stuff like that just because of the way that it looks, and that is definitely one of these. And you get a lot more product than you usually would. I am really impressed. Honestly, one of the best foundations I have tried in a really long time. Almost like it better than my Fenty Beauty. If you guys like these reviews, please let me know in the comments below, and even you liking this video lets me know. That way I can keep on doing these reviews for you guys. If there's any specific product that you would like to see me review, please let me know down in the comments also. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.